Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we need to go over the brand new Mikanko or Ohime archetype that was just revealed last night. I told you we were going to get both these new archetypes right around the corner. This one as well as the Peruri one that came out like last night. I just didn't expect him to get them back to back quite like this, but I'm not complaining, all right? I like new archetypes. I like going over this stuff. So we've got a lot to get to here. This is the ritual-based archetype. I gave it a quick read like at 4 a.m. last night when I woke up in the middle of the night and was like, I'm not going to make a video just yet. I'll make it in the morning. But yeah, let's just get into this thing. Also based around equips, which we'll see. Okay, so starting off here, we have Hair of the Sword, Mikanko, or is this Hare, the sword? Mikanko, very cool. Level 3 Fire Warrior. That's actually super interesting because of the one. This archetype is based around equip spells, and it's a warrior. So like Rhoda plus Durandal for search spells make this card really accessible. Okay, so this is a level 3 Fire Warrior, 0/0. All of them have 0/0, which is really weird, and the second effect is a hard once per turn. If this card is equipped with any equip card, you take no battle damage from battles involving it, and if it is, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent... I'm sorry. If this card is not equipped with an equip card, you take no battle damage. Did I say that wrong? I think I said that wrong. So, not equipped, you take no battle damage from battles involving it. And if it is equipped with a equip spell, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage you would take. So I guess the idea is you want to make these with an equip spell or summon them with an equip spell and attack into your opponent's big stuff. And that's how you deal damage to your opponent. Which is very interesting. I don't know if we've ever seen an archetype based around pretty much like losing battles to deal your opponent damage. And the second effect, if this card becomes equipped with an equip card, you can add a Mikanko equip spell from your deck to your hand. So that's pretty good if you just have access to any equip to put on this card. That could be a Durandal, equip it, search a free other Mikanko equip, and then Durandal, search another Fire Warrior, which maybe could be some of the Fire Warriors from the Infernoble archetype. Maybe it's just another copy of this card. Whatever, we'll see. Very cool. Next up we have Nene, the Mirror Mikanko. This is a level 3 water spellcaster. Okay, so very different, much less searchable than her friend up here, Hare. Same first effect, I believe. If it's not equipped, you take no damage from it. And if it is equipped, your opponent takes the damage and it can't be destroyed by battle. Second effect, during your opponent's turn, while this card is equipped with an equip card, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. So that's actually pretty cool as well. I've always wanted to see this. I wanted to see an archetype that was more based around getting a lot of interruptions while they're equipped, or maybe even some equip spells that act as interruptions while they're equipped to a monster. That just felt like the natural progression if Konami was actually going to make more potential like good equipped spell based decks. So we're kind of seeing that here a little bit. We've seen it with like Evil Eyes before, right? While they're equipped, they gain like their interruption effects. But this is pretty good. Just target a face-up monster and take control of it till the end phase. It's pretty sweet. And maybe even if we have a way to like quick ritual summon, maybe even tribute their monster while we have it. Because this is only on our opponent's turn, but still pretty cool, pretty decent interruption, at the end of the day. Next up here, we move to our ritual monster. That's those are the only 3 monsters in the archetype so far. Very interesting. This is Mikanko of the Ohime. Level 6 light fairy ritual effect monster. 0/0 for the stats. Again, you can ritual summon this card with Mikanko Kagura. And the first and third effects are hard once per turns. You can reveal this card in your hand as cost to add a Mikanko card from your deck to your hand, except for itself, then discard 1 card. That's super interesting. This reminds me of like the Illusion Magician, whatever it is, the new ritual that like searches out magician souls pretty much, just by revealing itself, and then you like just kind of add. You don't even have to lose this card from your hand, which is very interesting. Maybe this makes this a potential splashable engine with stuff like Libromancer, who like literally needs a ritual monster in hand to extend with all of its main deck monsters. Pretty interesting. And we'll get to some of the other cards you can search. I like this is also any cards. This searches you a monster if you need it. This searches you your equips, searches you field spell, whatever, anything. Pretty cool. Second effect, cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent takes battle damage you would take from battles involved with it instead. Same as above, except this one is not reliant on being equipped with an equipped spell, so that's nice. Third effect, quick effect, target an equipped spell in your graveyard, equip it to an appropriate monster on the field. So that's pretty cool. You'll see some of the equips when we get there, but also generic equips could potentially be abused in the deck as well. And so, as you can see, grabbing any equip from grave is possible there. And what is the other one? Let's see. No, these ones don't help you, but I think there are some other spells that help us just get any equip spell straight up. And there's also like the trap card that already exists in the game that just like quick effect tosses an equip straight from deck onto a monster. That could come up here. We'll see. Okay, next up, the field spell, Doorway of the Celestial Mikanko. While you control a monster or monsters equipped with an equip card, your opponent's monsters must attack them if able. Whatever. That's not great. We've seen decks that like try to force your opponent to attack, but you know, they'll either just summon them in defense mode if they don't want to, or I don't know, they'll play around it. They'll remove your stuff before they go battle phase. If your Mikanko monster battles, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. Like, how many battle phase effects are people activating in Modern Day Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway? And thirdly, if your Mikanko monster attacks at the end of the damage step, you can equip one. You can send one equip card you control to the graveyard. That monster can make another attack in a row on a monster. So the idea is like you attack into something that's pretty big. Your opponent eats 2 to 3k, and then you can send an equip to attack again and deal them another 2 to 3k. Ideally, it's whatever. It's not like this card seems like the worst card in the deck by far. And it's not close. I think all three of these effects almost read, and I talk about this sometimes. Sometimes cards have effects that are like bonus effects, but like they never gave them the real effect. This card reads like it has 3 bonus effects, but none of these effects are like the real like good effect in the card. You know what I mean? All right, next up here we have the Great Mikanko of Legend. This is a quick play spell. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn. First effect, special summon a Mikanko monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions, but return it to the hand during your opponent's end phase. That's pretty interesting. So does that mean ignoring the summoning conditions means that you could just summon out the ritual? I'm assuming, because these are just regular monsters. So is this a way to just, without ritual summoning, just plop your Ohime straight out of the hand? Which is also interesting because she can just reveal herself to add a Mikanko card. So you could literally just reveal her, add this spell, and discard a card. Then this spell just immediately pulls her out of the hand. That is interesting and weird. I'd be curious if that's how that works. I'm assuming it is at this point. And the second effect, during your main phase, you can banish this card from grave to send any Mikanko card from your deck to the graveyard. So Foolish Burial for any card in the archetype, and you can use both of these in the same turn, which is not the worst thing in the world. Especially even if you draw this and it's not good in the hand. If you can just get Ohime, she searches something else, and then this is what you dump. So that way you get another Foolish Burial on top of that. I'm assuming most of the time you'd want to just send an equip. That way you'd be able to already have Ohime on the field and just go ahead and grab like the correct equip spell you'd want, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this one's okay. I think it's more like a situational card, kind of like the Exosister quick play Armament. That's like not great, but it is situationally really important at times. So I think it kind of reminds me of that, but you know, still could come up. All right, now we get to the equips. Okay, so this is Blazing Dance of the Mikanko. It's an equip spell. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn, and that's a key thing. You can only activate this, but I believe that bypasses this if you use any effect like Ohime's effect, where they equip from graveyard, from deck, from wherever. It's just you can only activate it. So that means in hand activate it to equip to something, whereas you could still equip it via other ways. Special summon one Mikanko monster from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, equip it with this card. Then you can special summon one monster from your opponent's graveyard to their field, but its effects are negated. The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. I think this is a decent little extender. Summon from hand or grave is pretty cool. Summoning the opponent's monster is interesting. It's kind of going for the theme of summon their monster, the biggest monster they can have, with its effects negated permanently, so they're not getting any effects off it, and then just attack into it. That way they just eat a ton of damage. I don't know how good that is, but I will still take it for the extension effect, and the fact that this is a then you can special summon a monster from your opponent's grave means you do not have to. So cool. It's just Monster Reborn for the deck. It's pretty cool. Next up, we have Purifying Dance of the Mikanko. Another equip. Equip only to a Mikanko. You can only use the second effect of this card once per turn. So that's pretty important that you can only use this, because it means if you had multiple monsters equipped with multiple copies of this, it still wouldn't be able to work. The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. That's pretty cool that that all of these just kind of make stuff indestructible. Because while they're equipped, they can't be destroyed by battle. So they are just like little annoying creatures, hard to out. If a monster or monsters is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can target one monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, return them to the hand. So that's what I was talking about before. I wanted to see this development in Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe some equips where while they're equipped, they're kind of like a trigger interruption. Something happens, you can interrupt, or even just an imperm like effect. You know what I mean? While this card is equipped, quick effect, target something, negate it, whatever. This is that. This is pretty good. It's just a bounce when something's special summoned. I will take that for sure, because going through this up until this point, this deck had like literally no interruption aside from the blue girl, the spellcaster, being able to like steal something while it's equipped. There, so 2 decent interruptions added to the archetype. We will take that for sure. Only bummer on this card is that I can only equip to a Mikanko. I get it. This would become like immediately the most broken equip we've ever seen in the game. It'd probably be abused in something like Noble Knights, because they can just get access to any equip pretty easily. And so just being able to add like a free interruption on top of what they do is like pretty good. But kind of still wish it was a little bit... I'd be curious how this would see play if it was generic. Okay, moving on here, we have Inviting Rondo of the Mikanko. This is an equipped spell. You can only be equipped to a monster your opponent... not only. It just can be equipped to a monster your opponent controls. And the first effect is a hard once per turn. Or you can only activate it once per turn. 4 different effects. You can only control one of it. Okay. Take control of the equipped monster while you control a Mikanko monster. Okay. The equipped monster cannot activate its effects while you control it. Alright. And then when this card leaves the field, send the equipped monster to the graveyard. Yeah, I think this card's pretty decent. It's kind of just, if you can put any Mikanko, like normal summon one of the small ones, then you can equip this onto something and just straight up steal it. That way you contribute it for the big one. Now, if you'll note, as far as the tribute levels go for ritual summoning, the big one's a level 6 and your 2 small ones are level 3. So one of them does not pay cost by itself to summon her out. So using a card like this to steal something from your opponent could make that a lot easier, as long as they're not ending on only exceeds and link monsters. So cool. And the last spell here is Mikanko Kagura. This is the ritual spell. It can only be used to summon Mikanko ritual monsters, or it can be used to summon Mikanko ritual. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Ritual summon one Mikanko ritual monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your field or hand whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the monster. Then you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of equipped spells with different names in your graveyard. And if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to them for each card destroyed by this effect. Wow. Okay, so I always say this, like Ritual and Fusion are kind of like inherently weak mechanics, because if you just look at them at their base quality without changing them and having any broken cards, you need 3 cards to do them at least. You need the ritual spell, you need the ritual monster in hand, you need at least one other monster that meets the level requirement for the summon. Now that's true for this one. This one's kind of a normal ritual spell in the way it functions resource wise, but then it also has that bonus effect where you just get to pop so many cards, non-targeting, destroy so many cards. I mean, depending on how many equips you've already gotten in grave, ideally that would be at least 1 or 2, and then also burn them. Pretty freaking solid. So I think this is a solid start for sure. This is a solid little ritual spell here. Not complaining there. But it is a hard one to return, but we only have 1 boss monster, so I don't know how many times you're planning on summoning the boss monster in 1 turn, so that's fine. Moving on here, we have Mikanko Promise, the first trap card. It's a normal trap. You can only activate it once per turn. Special summon a Mikanko monster from your hand or deck, but banish it when it leaves the field. Then you can equip it with one appropriate equip spell from your hand or graveyard. If this was like from deck, that'd be so good. The fact that this could just summon out the blue one that would have an interruption while it's equipped. I mean, it will still get its interruption, but you just have to already have it equipped from hand or grave at least. So it's still decent. I still think this is cool because it does just get you to an interruption at the end of the day, which we'll take. And the last one here is obviously it's like the most broken if you have this one in rotation, because then you'll have literally like the trigger for this to like bounce a monster and her effect to steal a monster live off of like just this, which is pretty cool. And then Mikanko Catfight. It's a normal trap card. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn each. If you control a Mikanko, target a face-up monster on the field and equip it with an appropriate equip spell from your deck. I like that this is completely generic, so even some generic equips, maybe like Durendal, could come into play in the grind game just to get searches for more Fire Warriors, which is cool. I like this. I mean, it's pretty cool. And also, like, on the opponent's turn, being able to equip any utility that could even be, again, this same one that gives you the interruption could add to your board. Because it is a normal. I don't know why I thought this was a continuous. And if an equip spell is sent to your graveyard while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish this card to target an equip spell in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So there's just a free recursion on a free equip from grave. Pretty solid. All in all, I think it's a nice little start. I had to say this with the other archetype we looked at yesterday, the Peruris, is I think one of the biggest things to keep in mind is it's open-ended. There's literally no restrictions on any of these cards whatsoever. So I do think with the Fire Warrior Girl, there might be some potential to be included with some Infernoble Knight cards. I don't know exactly which ones or how many. Maybe there's a way to abuse some synchro summoning stuff, and if that gets negated, then your backup plan is just end on, like, maybe it's like Nene with the good equip that interrupts. You have like the double interruption there as a backup plan. I think this feels more like an engine at this point than like a full-on deck. As far as all the artwork goes, it's pretty much showing off just these three girls. So I don't know if I'm expecting more monsters or not. Maybe different forms for these monsters or something could be down the line, or just some slightly better stuff. I don't know. Like, you have a boss monster that isn't technically an interruption in any way, but she does search a card and she does get something back from grave. If she does like equip, like get another equip loaded. So maybe we'll see more equips. I have to bring this up as well. Let's see. If you're going down the list of cards, the field sale is 28. The quick play is 29. The blazing dance is 30. Purifying dance is 31. And then we don't have a 32. So this should be one more equip spell. If it's crazy enough, it could definitely push the deck even further, but we'll have to see. I'm not going to assume anything before we get there, but I can almost see maybe it's an equip spell that searches, maybe like Durendal, but for this archetype, and then add even more searchability to the deck and utility there. But I think it's pretty cool. I'm actually really curious what people come up with here. There doesn't seem like there's like insanely good payoff. It seems like your best payoff as far as interruption is Nene equipped with the Purifying Dance, but we'll see. I don't know. I thought Libromancer was trash, and I had to come back and make an apology video to Libromancer because they were way better than I gave them credit for, because they were open-ended, because they're able to abuse a lot of other generic cards in the game that just other decks haven't been able to abuse in conjunction. Maybe this deck will be the same. Who knows? But I will obviously keep you updated on any new cards that come out here. So there's our three archetypes, Mikanko, Peruri, and the Rescue Aces. We just need our final three cards over the next 10 days before the set comes out. So I'll obviously show those off to you guys when they plop. But that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel for more stuff from me down the line. And let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on the new archetype. What do you think? Is there anything I missed in terms of cards that already exist that could be splashed in here? Utility for some of the cards we looked at today that I didn't notice? Please let me know there. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.